Hello, Fallout fans. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most compelling characters from the Fallout universe, Walton Goggins' portrayal of the Ghoul. This episode will explore his harrowing backstory, his struggles, and how he embodies the corruption of both man and the environment in the post-apocalyptic world. So buckle up as we peel back the layers of this radioactively marred character who teeters on the brink of humanity and monstrosity. Fallout is teeming with unforgettable characters, but none are quite as gripping as Walton Goggins, the Ghoul, a standout in this rogues gallery of eccentrics. Known as a ruthless killing machine, the Ghoul's appearance is grotesquely altered by radioactivity, turning him into a flesh-eating killer on the verge of losing his remaining humanity and devolving into a more fearsome, murderous monster. What truly makes him fascinating, however, is not just his fearsome demeanor but his backstory, which is as compelling as it is heartbreakingly tragic. This backstory not only captivates us, but also serves to reveal the broader history of the Fallout world to the viewers. He epitomizes the corruption of mankind and the environment, transformed into a perfect creature of the radioactive wasteland the series is set in. Stripped of his nose, skin, and family, the very essence of his humanity, his struggle to cling to his lingering humanity is poignant. Despite everything, he yearns to recover what was taken from him, making him an unforgettable figure in the desolate landscape. The Ghoul, portrayed by Walton Goggins, is a radioactive mutant and a bounty hunter who was once the unfortunate captive of the sadistic Dom Pedro. Pedro imprisoned the Ghoul, burying him deep underground and keeping him subdued with anti-feral chemicals. His ordeal only ended when a group of villains unearthed him to pursue a bounty on Sig Wilsig, played by Michael Emerson, a man who harbors the secret to cold fusion within his body. From the moment the Ghoul steps out of the coffin and onto the screen, he is an imposing figure, terrifying in appearance and actions as he mercilessly dispatches a crew of baddies. Despite his fearsome demeanor, the Ghoul emerges as arguably the most significant and compelling character in Fallout. A stone-cold killer he may be, yet he embodies a noble spirit uncommon in the wastelands. As a gun for hire, he adheres to the cowboy code. Stoic, practical, and a master of realism. He often says,
Cowpokes, we take it as it comes.
Highlighting his pragmatic approach to life. While it may be hard to associate nobility with a man who crafts jerky from feral ghouls, there's an undeniable honesty about him that is deeply appealing. The Ghoul's cruelty is born out of necessity, a point he makes clear to Lucy, played by Ella Purnell, when he explains, "Sometimes a fella's gotta eat a fella."
God, sometimes a fella's gotta eat a fella.
This harsh reality of survival is something Lucy comes to understand while they share a moment drinking radioactive water. The Ghoul's effectiveness stems from his acceptance of the world as it is, which frees him from the burden of guilt. Much like a cat feels no remorse for the mouse it consumes, he is merely an animal surviving according to its nature. Notably, the Ghoul is characterized by his truthfulness, a trait he shares with many legendary cowboys. This aspect of his personality is highlighted in a gruesome yet candid moment when he slices off Lucy's finger, noting that it's the most honest exchange they've had. Thus, the ghoul stands as the most perfectly adapted creature of the wasteland. The ghoul, as it turns out, is as ancient as the apocalypse itself. Originally a Western actor named Cooper Howard, he became a radioactive zombie after exposure to the fallout. Intriguingly, he was married to a Vault-Tec employee, the very company responsible for the apocalypse. The transformation from Cooper Howard to the ghoul highlights a stark contrast between his past and present selves. Once a loving father and a dutiful husband, gentle and just, Cooper's experiences with Vault-Tec's machinations transformed him into the embodiment of the world's fury, driven by a deep-seated hatred for Vault-Tec. But why such intense hatred? Cooper Howard was a renowned Western actor, celebrated for his portrayals of rugged gunslingers with a strong moral compass. Vault-Tec's executives saw him as the perfect figurehead for their new subterranean living facilities, making him the poster boy for this brave new world with a reassuring thumbs up towards the future. However, the revelation of a sinister corporate scheme where Coop's wife and other corporate executives collaborated with Big Tech to orchestrate a global nuclear catastrophe and claim dominion over humanity, alienated him from his family. Upon discovering their horrific plan, he lost his wife and daughter in the ensuing chaos of a world on fire, morphing him into a nightmarish version of the heroes he once portrayed on screen. The ghoul is a pivotal character because his journey unfolds the saga of the wasteland. Cooper Howard's connections span across the major figures and events of the series, and while the plot doesn't revolve entirely around him, his story encapsulates the essence of the wasteland. It was Cooper's wife who devised the plan to nuke the world, a revelation that devastated Cooper. It cost him everything. What makes this narrative profoundly tragic is that the orchestrator of all the carnage, the architect of the ghoul's misery, is none other than his beloved wife. Exploring the ghoul's history invites the audience into the secret chronicles of the Fallout world, a truth obscured from most vault dwellers, but not from the viewers. His tale weaves together all the threads into a unified story of corporate greed and runaway fiduciary responsibility, culminating in a nihilistic endpoint. Thus, the ghoul stands as the lone purveyor of truth in a savage world and acts as a harbinger of justice. He is a tragic figure, meting out retribution to the corporate moguls who warped the world into a dark, violent, and inhospitable realm. Identity and transformation. The ghoul's transformation from Cooper Howard, a respected Western actor, to a nightmarish figure embodies the philosophical question of identity persistence. Philosophers often debate whether a person remains the same if they undergo profound changes, whether physical, mental, or moral. The ghoul's journey invites us to ponder what makes one's identity. Is it our physical form, our memories, our actions, or something else? Existentialism and authenticity. The harsh realities of the ghoul's world force him to confront existential questions about the meaning of his existence. His transformation and subsequent actions might be seen as his way of asserting his authenticity in a world that has fundamentally changed. This reflects existentialist ideas about becoming who you are in the face of absurdity and chaos. Ethics of survival. The Ghoul's actions, driven by necessity in a post-apocalyptic world, raise ethical questions about the morality of survival. When he says, "Sometimes a fella's gotta eat a fella," it highlights the extreme measures taken to survive. This brings up the moral conflict between what is necessary to survive and what is ethically right, inviting a discussion on situational ethics and moral relativism. Nihilism versus moral resilience. Living in a world destroyed by corporate greed and nuclear catastrophe, the Ghoul could be seen as a symbol of nihilism, rejecting established morals and finding life meaningless. However, his adherence to some remnants of his past, like the cowboy code, suggests a form of moral resilience. This juxtaposition invites a discussion on whether it is possible to maintain moral beliefs in a world that seems inherently immoral or meaningless. Justice and revenge. Finally, the Ghoul's motivations might also be examined through the lens of justice versus revenge. Is his pursuit of those responsible for the apocalypse and his transformation a quest for justice, or is it revenge? This question challenges the philosophical definitions of justice and whether revenge can ever be morally justified. Now, let's delve deeper into the origins of the term ghoul. The word ghoul has its roots in Arabic, where it signifies concepts of immortality, or to live. This naming choice is deeply intertwined with the character's narrative in the Fallout series. The Ghoul's existence revolves around the harsh realities of the post-apocalyptic world, where survival becomes paramount. However, there's a deeper layer to his identity, a relentless pursuit for immortality amidst the chaos and decay of his surroundings. As we conclude our journey through the life and tribulations of the Ghoul, we've seen how one man's tragedy reflects the broader calamities of a world torn apart by corporate greed and apocalyptic devastation. The Ghoul, once a man known as Cooper Howard, now stands as a symbol of both the enduring human spirit and the immense cost of corporate malfeasance. May his story remind us of the resilience required to navigate a world that often seems bereft of justice, and inspire us to seek truth and accountability, no matter how dark the times. If you enjoyed this exploration of one of Fallout's most fascinating characters, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Thank you for joining us.